be everybody around you is a moron. And so, you know, what was I going to say? Everybody around you is a moron, and you are trying to make sense of your world. And at this point, don't mind me, I was distracted for a second. At this point, you're sitting there trying to edit, you know, the things in the background in your mind while absorbing information, but you're getting inundated with things that are not true or whatever, or incorrect information, but you lack truthful information from this plane of existence to actually write this stuff into your brain the way it needs to be, so that you can, I guess I can't use the word at this point, survive. But and here comes another truck. I'll try to talk up for that couple of seconds so I don't forget. Not to survive, but to have a basis, a firm basis. You know what I mean? Hold on for a second. To have a foundation, a strong foundation for what will build you as a person. I would like to say, I feel it's never really appropriate or not exact to say you feel sorry for stuff that's going on, to other people, whatever. Like, I want to say I feel sorry for the kids that have been born over the past, say 20, maybe 30 years, because even though that's not the exact word anybody should be using, but because you get such rank, like not rank, but the word, like, when there's an odor, I guess that's the word for. I think it's rank or something like that, but you know what I mean. You get such a rank version of what is really going on in the world, or the truth these days, as compared to the older days, except that there's more information available to you because of the internet. Whereas back in the days, if you go back thousands of years or hundreds of thousands or whatever, the things that we are supposed to be learning about now, they were actually happening. And you didn't have so many people, depending. You didn't have so many people or entities trying to stop or control what was being put out there. It was experienced. Maybe you might not have been in that part of the world if you were on this world, and so you might not have experienced then, but maybe by word of mouth you heard it. And even back then, word of mouth might have been whatchamacallit, another truck. Hold please. So back then, word of mouth might be like it has been these days. You remember when you were in school and a rumor starts, and by the time it gets to your ears, it's twisted around 30 ways to Sunday, and it's not the truth at all, or contains very few elements thereof. But I would like, I have my own experiences, and I'm trying to edit what I'm saying because I've been around a very long time. So if you jump around through, uh, Google and social media things, and read posts, if you bother to do any of that or whatever that I've made, then you'll see me make reference to how old I am and what I am and who I am and all that stuff like that. I won't go into that right now because that's really, really distracting. Not for you, not for me, but it would be for you. Anyway, so um, if you go back a long ways, then if you were able to be around, like in a bunch of different places, the information would be accurate. Whereas these days, it's almost like as soon as something happens, it gets distorted. Especially because you have the internet, you have so many less newspapers. If any of you, the younger ones of you, if you remember what newspapers are, I don't think it's been that long yet, but everything used to have to get. You used to have to send a reporter somewhere, and they would try to get the story firsthand, and then come back to the paper, fact check it, before that, but come back and then do some more fact checking before the paper printed it because they didn't want to get sued after they print something and it turns out not to be the truth. So, things used to be more accurate. We'll just say that back then when you had to actually put out a newspaper or, physical paper and it's on the stands and you buy it for, 5 cents or whatever. And so, it's the internet now. Everything's recorded and then people edit it. Different agencies or other types of organizations, they either get rid of stuff, make it difficult for you to see things, and I guess I love language and time and space, and the reason I'm jumping to that in the same way that I just said that, but because, again, I'm just getting like angry and emotional again. The reason I'm making this video, just in case I forget later and I never get to it, just remember that, and you can remind me in the comments if you make a comment on it. Just, comments, people, if you got a bad thing to say about me, keep it to yourself. If you got something good to say or whatever, then I would love to hear it. But as far as the reason I'm making this is that time and space are freaking thing. I'm forgetting that again because I jumped off on the emotional part. Hold on for a second. What was I gonna say? I'll just say what I was supposed to be making a video. It was because, comments. Okay, so it was because, when I leave a comment, like if I go to someone's channel and I watch videos, I don't remember ever in my life having left a comment bad, like a bad comment to somebody, or just, saying something, we'll just say something stupid or whatever. I watch videos, I try to get information. You see the name of the channel. That's just a tiny representation of even one of the organizations that we are, or whatever. And so I try to get information, absorb information, and if I can say something helpful to somebody where I think it might help them, I do. If I can give some type of advice, then I do. But I always leave something where, from my perspective, people can say, hey, okay, I never thought about that. Thanks. And that's typically when someone actually responds to my comments, what they pretty much say is always pretty much like a thank you or something like that or whatever. But like, okay, I'll just jump on that part for a split second off of the subject I was on, because this is actually the subject. And I know I'm gonna forget it talking about all that other stuff as a root. And like I said, what I was saying was, hold please for a truck. No matter where I go in the world, I would love to say what country I'm in right now, but I was in a different country and I used to speak to people, like if I had to talk to somebody on the phone or something, there would always be like some type of vehicle that passes by and interrupts my conversation, and just throws off my whole thing. And it just always seems like, I don't know if you ever notice, and maybe it does not happen to you, that when you're in a deep discussion or deep thought, something always happens outside or whatever around you to distract you. I got enough distractions. And then, not that you can really do anything about vehicles, it's just that they're noisy. So like if you just for a split second, this tangent, when people talk about like Bigfoot sightings, and anyone who's ever communicated with, a Sasquatch, Yeti, whatever you want to call them, one of the things they don't like about humans is humans are noisy. Like, for no reason, just noisy. Like, they have to be. They can't do anything and just be freaking quiet. So, vehicles don't have to make noise. For those of you who are deep into technology, vehicles don't have to make noise at all. Just people. The only thing that should be making any noise, but actually shouldn't even be on a road, and I'll say this because, a lot of people die in accidents from them, is motorcycles. Like, a motorcycle designed differently, but still being a motorcycle, like some type of motorized bicycle, you could just call it, is a wonderful thing. But when you're driving on one and you're in traffic and everything, people need to know you're there, and people don't pay attention. So, the noises that certain motorcycles make are necessary, just so that people always know where you are, or you're passing them because of the sound of your engine and things of this nature. But like, other than that, in just the modern world or whatever, nothing should be making noise. Anyway, so let me get back to where I was at before the whole plane. If I can remember, see what I mean? How I get distracted? I get distracted easily. And anyway, so where was I at exactly before that? I was talking about like, I'm really gonna remember, right? I guess, and see, here comes another freaking truck. Right while I'm trying to remember, because I got distracted by a truck, another truck is driving by. I'll use these couple of seconds to remember. So yeah, just hold on a second. Okay, so I was talking about one subject and I jumped onto the comments because it's a real thing. So, when I leave a comment, I always leave what I would call a short descriptive of who I am and what I am in a comment, because when people leave comments to me, like, it's not, you don't have to put down what you do for a living when you leave a comment to somebody, but I've always found it nice when I read a comment. Like, if somebody says, "Hey, I'm the CEO of General Dynamic," and they're making a comment on a video I made about astrophysics or anything else pretty much in technology, and so it lets me, like, based on whatever the words they are, the information they leave, it lets me just form this instant, beautiful picture of who they might be and what they might have been exposed to, so that I can understand the core of their comment. I think like that. Maybe you don't, maybe most of the world doesn't, but I do. So there's been times when I leave comments and I leave, that I'm the director of the Illuminati, or one of them anyway, directors of the Illuminati, MJ12 and MIB, and all these things of this nature, or whatever. And from my perspective, a person looks at that and they're like, okay, he left me this information, or he just said this, and this is who he is. I would love for, I don't care who the president of some country might be. I almost slipped and said the president of the country I'm in right now, but okay, I'll just say a president. Okay, I'll say where I've been before, the United States, Biden. So maybe you like Biden, maybe you don't like Biden. If Biden leaves you a comment, then I'm just gonna say that it's cool if a president takes the time to read or listen to your video, read your video, to listen to your video or read something you've written, and then leave a comment about it if it's a good comment. I just think that's cool. It doesn't matter who the president is, pretty much. If they say something nice, like, who cares if you don't like them politically? Another truck, hold on for a second. See what I mean? So, I always feel like I feel I'm important. I mean, let's just go off on another tangent just for a split second. In terms of existence versus non-existence versus the little space between that, and what can be the difference between existence and non-existence, I'm the most important creature there is. It's not something you would know, but if you studied anything about anything I've talked about in the 2 or 3 videos, or 4 videos that I think it's 6 or 7, but probably only 2 or 3 of them have anything to do with the Illuminati or whatever. If you listen to any of those, which is the only information you'll be able to find, by the way, on the Illuminati that is actually accurate, is stuff that comes directly from me, directly from my mouth, or what I've written, that you can prove that I've written. That's it. Anything else you've read about us, just pretty much dismiss it, or heard about us, dismiss it, because it's not true or it's been changed around. And, if you were to ask me, like, you've heard this, is this true, or you've heard that isn't true, I could give you a short, when I have time, sometimes it takes me months or years, literally, months or years to respond to people's comments. So don't ever take it like, if I don't respond for years, like I'm just ignoring you, and why am I subscribed to this channel, this person ignores it. It's not that. I run over 5,000 organizations for the Illuminati, and all of them pretty much, no, most of them, yeah, just 99.9% of them are black. They don't exist. So again, if you know anything about that type of world, then you understand that. But like, what was that? Things that I'm not gonna go deep into that. I'm trying to avoid going deep into stuff and then I forget what I was talking about. That's part of the problem. Is I probably work out better if I just continue with what I was saying and just fall back into other stuff I was saying. But you learn things as you grow. So I run all these different things, and so it takes me time, like a lot of time, sometimes to get back to people or whatever. But when what was I saying, comments or whatever. So let's just go back to that. So if I leave a comment, I feel I'm important to myself. So I put down, hey, this is what I am, so that if someone wants to ask a question based on something I said, or just in general, they can. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, right? There was a point in time. I guess we can go into this part 2 of it. Yeah, I guess that was right. Misleading liner. We can go into this version or part of what I was saying also, which is that there used to be a time when you left a comment and then you left who you were, and you did that as a form of self-advertisement for other people in the comment section, as well as for the person that you're leaving the comment to, because it's called social media. Social. Most of you don't know, I'm not saying you specifically, but most of you don't know what social means. For a split second, I'd like to jump into, since it's 45 minutes? 45 minutes already. Yeah, 5 minutes, right? Some of you knew that wasn't going to happen. You could almost, if there was lottery money involved, you would have hit the lottery on this one. Like if you just said, nah, he's not going to make a 5-minute video. But anyway, so, just for a split second, social versus what did they call them? Not socialists, that too, but like we talking about Russians back in the day, communism. Okay, let me explain to you what communism is, short, and let me give you a short definition or whatever on socialism. Communism is commune, the core, com, together, mune, I guess, because I don't know exact word of mune, but it's like revolve. It's almost like the word, it's almost like world. Like world is a bad example. It's almost like like if you take salt and put it in water and you spin it around, that's mune. Try to picture that for a second. So now commune. So the salt and water are mixing together, they're spinning around together, and they're in the same space. There's a thing. If you've ever seen the videos with Lacerda, the woman who is reptilian who lives underground, she uses the term in sphere, your sphere of existence or sphere of influence. There it is, sphere, sphere of influence. In that glass or whatever, that's a sphere. It doesn't have to be circle, like around, like ball, but you're in the same area, and you're there's a boundary to it around you, and so you're just caught up in this constant action and reaction with each other. That's commune. So that's why we use the word anywhere you go in the world, community. It means you're in the same general area. There's a boundary to that area which divides where you're at from where something else is based on whatever. So like one thing is a neighborhood, the other is a factory district. So in your community, your neighborhood, you have these people, places, and things going on, right? That's community. That's communism. A neighborhood is communism. So now, when you deal with society, social, that's interaction. So let's differentiate it slightly. In communism, there is a community, and there are certain aspects that create it and make it a community, and that's where the ISM comes from. So part of the problem that we're dealing with here in the world, which is again having to do with why I'm making the video, the first probably 30 minutes of it is a little bit of background, and I probably really need to get back into that, but maybe that should be for another video. But just to give you a core for what I'm trying to say and my feelings behind it and our feelings as an organization and things of that nature. Community. In a community, you are social, or you should be social, meaning, okay, you spin the salt in the water, in the glass, and, the salt, grains of salt may or may not combine with the grains of water. Grains of water. Let's just leave that for a second like that. Grains of water. I like that. With the grains of water to make their own molecules. And so, and even with that, you have byproducts. Like when salt, NaCl, mixes with H2O, whatever the byproduct of that is. Don't remember, but whatever. If you're a science person, then you know what I'm talking about. That's based on that interaction. So when you have neighbors or people in your community and you stop and talk to them, or you go to a store and you buy something and you're looking at this thing and it's not exactly what you want, so you have to go ask the guy at the register, hey, listen, I would like this. Do you have it in the store? Or if you don't have it, can you get it? Or why don't you carry it? That's socialism. That's society. That's interaction. That's the core of what it is. So you have this community, this whole environment, right? And then with this bunch of different people and things, and then they interact with each other, and they're being social. So, that's what socialism is, and that's what communism is. So, everybody grows up hating other people around the globe. Damn, I love when, see, this is what I'm saying. That's the time and space thing. I probably forgot it earlier, but this is what I was talking about. Like, I'm that type of person. Like, I can't do things short. Like, I can't make a 5-minute video and really talk about something, because you can't really say what you need to say or give time and space for something to develop that you need to say. But, like, when you have that community and those people together, social, the thing that's wrong in the world is that, people don't understand words. That's what I was getting to, because I was going to forget that part too. ISM versus AL, social, or the ISM that goes on the end of it. All of these things have meanings. So socialism is when you're talking about that. It's what it is. It's I don't want to go into the whole noun and preposition and all that stuff like that, because that's never been, when I did it, that was my strong suit. But remembering that from when I was younger, no. I don't talk to people often, so I don't get a chance to exercise that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there's being social, and then there's socialism. Socialism is a concept, and then being social is actually something you do. So I guess that's the verb, and the other one could be a noun, but whatever a concept is called, in terms of that. So no, it's not what you see going on in the world. So it's like, I don't like the Russians because they're communists. Well, that means you don't like you. Unless you live in the woods by yourself and you don't even freaking talk to squirrels, then okay, back then you're not a communist. Other than that, everybody's a freaking communist. Everybody's a socialist, because you live in a society. And so that's part of the problem going on with the world. And the reason I was saying this, it ties to the comment I'm trying to make, is that, what I'm trying to say is, like when I leave comments, and I know it should be blowing your mind right now. He's like, yo, he's making a 45-minute video about he doesn't like something that happened when he left a comment. But I mean, this is a tiny thing, but it's important because you go through it too, and people go through it when they leave comments on yours, and you do what happened to me and several other people in the organization, or a whole lot more than them. But anyway, so you leave a comment, and you take your time. You're taking time out of your day. You're taking thoughts that you had. You spent the time watching someone's video or reading someone's article, and you construct something nice to say, not even always critical, nice, but just nice in general, and you leave it there. And maybe just because of whatever race you are, or because I would like to think that people, when they read your comments, they look at something, and because people don't leave information, or even if they do, you do a quick jump to their channel, or something you cite in there real quick if you have time to see what this person is about, and then you come back and then you make your decision. Sometimes people leave, which I think is what's going on sometimes. Sometimes people respond directly to your comment, they like it, they respond, then they do a background on you, but then they come back and they delete your comment because they don't like what they went and read about you. If it's bad, I mean, I kind of understand. If it's not bad, they didn't leave a bad comment. So, but they come back and they delete, block you or delete you or whatever. These are the things that have been happening to us, right? The reason that it's important for me to point these things out and make a video about it is because what you don't know and understand is we are everything that exists. We are not an organization first and foremost. We are the all-spark in terms of what you've seen, like when you watch the movies. We are the missing link between the nothingness and what exists. That's what the Illuminati is. Except that the IL on lumen, lumination, Illuminati, because we used to be called the Illuminati, but we don't use that so often